Hello students, hope you all are doing good. So today in this video we'll start with the next chapter, that is chapter 7, weather, climate and adaptation of animals to climate. We already have studied in the previous year about adaptation of animals. Means what are the different features that an animal has to survive in that climate or environment. Okay, so what is weather? So weather in simple words, I can tell you that you must have seen that in the morning it's sunny, sometimes it's sunny and sometimes it's cloudy, right? And after some time it changes to, if it is sunny, it suddenly changes to cloudy weather, and then it rains suddenly. So that is the weather is changing time to time within a short period. We can see different types of weathers, that is sunny, cloudy, rainy, such type. So that is called as weather which does not remain constant. वो एक ही टाइप का नहीं रहता है, वो थोड़े थोड़े टाइम में चेंज होता रहता है, उसको हम वेदर बोलते हैं. ओके, so here I'll just tell you. So we find that the daily weather report carries information about the temperature, humidity and rainfall during the past 24 hours. Okay, जब हम newspapers में we can see such type of weather report given. In that they write the weather report of the past 24 hours. Last 24 hours में कैसा weather था, what was the maximum temperature, minimum temperature, कितनी ह्यूमिडिटी थी और कितना रेनफॉल हुआ था उस दिन में, इन द on the last day, that is the last 24 hours, past 24 hours. Now what does humidity mean? Humidity is the measure of the moisture in air. Humidity क्या होता है? It is a measure of moisture. Moisture मतलब कितना water vapor है air में, that we come to know by testing the humidity. Okay, so humidity is what? It is a measure of moisture in the air. So how the meteorological department prepares the weather report? They prepare the weather report by collecting data on temperature, wind, and many factors are there. Temperature, wind, rainfall, these all things, humidity, these are the factors on which they calculate that what will be the weather on or at that place. So as in the class, I have already told you to stick a with such weather report that you get in the newspaper in your notebooks. So hope everybody has done it. Now next, this is a table given to us for the weather data of a week. So we can note down the weather, that is a maximum temperature, minimum humidity, maximum humidity, and rainfall on that particular date. So after we complete it for 1 week, we know how much variation is there in all these values. Okay. Now rainfall is measured by an instrument called the rain gauge. Okay. Rain gauge is like a funnel type of thing which collects water, and there is a scale on it, and how much water is being collected, according to that they tell us that this much millimeter rainfall was there on this day. So now here comes the uh, definition of weather. Weather is what? The day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. is called the weather. So, a day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place in which what all things are considered: temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed. These all things are considered, and the weather of that place is being made, prepared. So this temperature, humidity and other things which are mentioned here, which are used to calculate the weather, are called the elements of weather. Okay. The weather of a place changes day after day and week after week. Yes, हर रोज weather change होता है, it does not remain constant. That is why we often say today's weather is too humid or the weather was warm last week. So weather is a very such complex phenomena that it changes over a short period of time. जैसे मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन किया, आपको व्हेन यू गेट अप इन द मॉर्निंग इट्स सनी एंड सडनली इट बिकम्स क्लाउडी एंड आफ्टर सम टाइम इट स्टार्ट्स टू रेन. वैसे ही आपने दूसरा भी ऑपोजिट भी देखा होगा, बहुत रेन हो रहा होता है एंड देन सडनली सन आ जाता है और एकदम सनलाइट आ जाती है एंड बिकम्स हॉट. दीज ऑल आर द डिफरेंट changes in the weather that happens. So since weather is a complex phenomena, it is not easy to predict it. Yes, so we were looking into what is weather and how it changes after a short period of time. So that is why weather is a very complex phenomena which is not very easy to predict. Now we'll look into a graph that is given in our textbook which records the maximum temperature of a place called Shillong, that is in Meghalaya, from 3rd August to 9th August. So in this graph, we can see that the temperature is varying so there is so much fluctuation in the temperature. You can see at the starting of the week it was very high, then it went low, then again it went up, then again it went down, so down up till 22, then again it rised to 25, then again it went down, then again it was a medium type of middle. Okay, so there is so much temperature variation, the maximum temperature variation is so much, it's fluctuating so much. So, as it is clear from any weather report that the maximum and minimum temperatures are recorded every day. Okay, so every day the minimum and maximum temperatures are recorded. So how are the temperatures recorded? ये temperatures कैसे record होते हैं? क्या instrument use किया जाता है? Okay. So in the chapter where we studied about thermometers, we had seen that there is a special thermometer that was called as clinical thermometer to measure the body temperature of a human being. Similarly, if you want to measure the temperature of any object, of any um, chemical or a liquid or a solid, you have laboratory thermometers. So similarly, there is one more type of thermometers. They are called maximum and minimum thermometers, which are used to record the maximum and minimum temperature. So these are the special thermometer for measuring the maximum and minimum temperature. Now we know that the maximum temperature हमारे at in daytime, when is the maximum temperature? It is at the 12 noon. एकदम दोपहर में 12 बजे 12 noon में the temperature is very high because the sun is on top of her head. Similarly, when is the temperature comfortable? मतलब ज्यादा ठंडी नहीं ज्यादा गर्मी नहीं. वैसा टेम्परेचर कब होता है दिन में? जब sunrise हो ही रहा होता है. When the sun is starting to rise, at that time the temperature that is there, that is such temperature that which is not very hot or which is not very high or which is not very low. So that is that time the temperature is a comfortable temperature. Means it's, as I said, it's not very high or not very low. So what about the times of sunrise and sunset? You know that in winters, हमें पता है in winters में sunset जल्दी हो जाता है and you do not get much time to play. Okay, so in winters the days are shorter, but in summers the days are longer. क्यों? क्योंकि summer season में sunset जल्दी नहीं होता है, it takes time for sun to set, whereas in winter season the sunset happens very fast. Means by 6 o'clock, if in winter it's sunset, in summers the sun sets by 7:30. So there's so much difference, 1.5 hour difference. So that is why और समर सीजन में सनराइज भी जल्दी हो जाता है, विंटर सीजन में सनराइज भी जल्दी नहीं होता है. So that is why the days are shorter in winter season and the days are longer in summer season. So here we complete our weather topic, and we'll start with the climate topic. The last topic that is of this chapter, that is the weather. We saw how weather keeps on changing after a short period of time in a day. Now the next thing is climate. Next topic here on this chapter is climate. So climate is a thing that does not change as compared to weather. Climate of a place is fixed. So climate is what, for example, we can say that the climate of Rajasthan is very hot. The climate in the south is very wet, means always, most of the times it rains there. The climate in the north is very cold as it is having mountains and it's a hilly region. So that does not change each time. Yes, in a year you cannot, in a year or in a day or in a month, it is not changing. So that is called as a climate. And how the climate is being uh, found out, कैसे हम क्लाइमेट पता करते हैं of that place. So how it is, the average weather pattern taken over a long time, say 25 years. So continuous 25 years का हम weather pattern देखते हैं उस जगह का, उसके हिसाब से हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं कि हाँ इस जगह का क्लाइमेट ये है. इफ इन दैट 25 years continuously we see that the climate of that place, mostly at most of the time, it is hot, then we say that the climate of that place is hot. अगर वहाँ पे पूरे इतने साल 25 years का हम देखते हैं उस जगह का, और हमें दिखता है कि ज्यादातर वहाँ पे बारिश ही हो रही है, so we say that the climate there is wet, hot and wet. So this is how we find out the climate. If we find that the temperature of a place is high most of the time, then we say that the climate of that place is hot. If there is also heavy rainfall on most of the days, उसी जगह पे अगर ज़्यादातर टाइम पे रेनफॉल, ज़्यादा दिनों में रेनफॉल भी हो रहा है, तो हम बोल सकते हैं द क्लाइमेट इज हॉट एंड वेट. हॉट भी है और वेट भी है. सो दिस इज हाउ वी डिसाइड द प्रेडिक्ट द क्लाइमेट ऑफ दैट प्लेस विद द हेल्प ऑफ वेदर. वेदर से हम क्लाइमेट पता करते हैं. उस जगह का वेदर 2-3 साल का हमें देखना है कैसा रहता है उधर का वेदर. We have to consider, for as they have seen, 25 years for a long duration. 25 years का, past 25 years का उस जगह का हमें वेदर पैटर्न देखना है. अगर उस वेदर पैटर्न से हमें पता चलता है कि वो हॉट, वहाँ पे हॉट क्लाइमेट है, कोल्ड क्लाइमेट है, हॉट एंड वेट है, वेट है, दिस ऑल वी come to know from there. Now in table 7.2 and 7.3 we have given the climatic condition at two places in India. Okay, यहाँ पे आपको दो जगह का मैक्सिमम मिनिमम टेम्परेचर और रेनफॉल कितना है दैट इज बीइंग गिवन. सो फ्रॉम दिस थिंग वी कैन come to know that whether the at this place how is the climate, is it cold, hot or how. So from this table we come to know that the the climate at this place is cold. From here we can come to know that climate is hot and wet, and there is rainfall also. Okay, so they have calculated here the mean temperature. Now what is mean temperature? Mean temperature is calculated by two steps. So first what they do, they find the average temperature recorded during the month. जैसे उन्होंने ये लिया फॉर एग्जांपल जनवरी, पूरे जनवरी महीने में जो भी मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर आया होगा उन सबका एवरेज, हर एक दिन का जो टेम्परेचर मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर आया जनवरी मंथ में उसका एवरेज निकालते हैं. Then what do they do? That is the first step. Then second, we calculate the average of such average temperatures of over many years. अब जैसे उन्होंने ये फॉर एग्जांपल जनवरी 2020 का निकाला वो एवरेज टेम्परेचर, अभी वैसे ही वो 19, 18, 17, 16 का भी जनवरी मंथ का एवरेज टेम्परेचर निकालते हैं अलग अलग साल का. मगर मंथ रिमेन्स द सेम, द ईयर चेंजेस. सो वो जो भी अलग अलग ईयर्स के उन्होंने जनवरी में जो एवरेज टेम्परेचर निकाला वो सभी टेम्परेचर का फिर से वो लोग एवरेज निकालते हैं, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द मीन टेम्परेचर. सो द टू प्लेसेस आर श्रीनगर इन जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एंड तिरुवनंतपुरम इन केरला. सो ये दो प्लेसेस का आपको ये टेबल दिया हुआ है about the climate. Now, by looking at the tables, we can see the difference in climate of Jammu and Kashmir and Kerala. So, from this table, we understand that Kerala is very hot and wet, whereas Jammu and Kashmir, it's moderately hot and wet climate for a part of year. Jammu and Kashmir में hot भी है, ज़्यादा hot नहीं है. It's medium hot and wet because it's snowy there. Most of the part snowfall is there time, so that is why it's wet and moderately hot. Similarly, if we look into the data of Rajasthan, we can see that the temperature is very high during the year. If we consider for the northeastern parts, so if you consider for the northeastern parts, it almost receives rain for most of the year, so we can say the climate is wet. So, and in Rajasthan, we can say the climate is hot and dry.